All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's inside the IFL. It's the IFL schedule release show. And I'm joined by Mr. Ed with
What it is.
a schedule release show already. And our
Love it.
championship game was
Love it.
not even 2 months ago. Before I even get into schedule and all that stuff, let everybody know I was dealing with the roster file, getting everything organized this week. Made a small error, rookie mistake that I was aware of. Thanks to Mr. Jermaine Smith, as we lovingly call Destro, helping me out. Got it all squared away because I did corrupt my file like an idiot. So that was fixed. So now I got all 16 teams on the 2 USB cards, ready to go, ready to rock and roll. So what I'm going to do, starting hopefully today, is I'm going to get in there and actually finalize all the teams, players from last season. I'm going to put the same number, the heights, the weights, the equipment, get as much as accurate as possible from last season. And then new players, we're going to do the same. So owners, if you drafted a player that is a non-human player, you have the right to do with him as you please. When these players were created, we didn't even determine if a guy was black, Chinese, white. We didn't determine any of that. So if you have him on your team, you now have the right to decide what he is. I don't care. So do with him as you wish. Give him the equipment you so desire. I will say this to all teams involved. We want to have a preseason. The more work you give me, the longer it'll take for me to get it done. If it gets into the space where it's going to interfere with the preseason, then so be it. I'm not going to worry about it so much as long as we have a good regular season. I got Matthew Soper, Alex Starr, Crypto Zoomaller. They're all in the chat that I see so far. I'm seeing here through my analytics, we got a few more people in there. They're just not talking, so I don't know who exactly is there. But don't be afraid to share this link. Share the link to the league and also be able to, quote unquote, hit that thumbs up button, like this video. Make sure you subscribe. Get your friends to join. It's never too late. Just like we had a new member join us. I believe it was just last night. Maynard came in at 2:33 a.m. last night. I did get a contract for him. I will be posting it to the website. He'll be able to join with somebody as a non-star player for the season. And then so desire to stay with that team if he wishes in non-star status, because you can't promote a non-star to star without everybody getting a fair shot at him. Or he can enter the draft for next season. So it'll be all up to him, but he'll be able to be involved for the season. Ed, just so you're aware, it's the schedule. Yes. It's the schedule release show.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yes. I know guys are excited, just like Alex. When am I playing Chicago? And there we got Mr. Chris Davis with the yo. So Chris Davis is now up in there. So you have the schedule. I got the schedule. I don't want to waste too much time not getting to the schedule.
Let's do this thing.
But before we actually discuss the schedule, is there anything at all you feel we need to discuss, we need to talk about? Because there's only one more thing I'm going to let guys know about before we actually get started. Well, two things that I have to point out, and it has to regards to the teams. No, but I'm going to let you take it first if there's anything you need to bring up.
No, I think we're good.
Okay, he's good. So I'll say this. 16 teams. I will need all 16 owners when I ask for it. I know some of you have already sent it to me, but when I ask for it, I will need you to send it again so I know I have it and didn't screw it up and lose it. I don't want nobody being screwed up on their team. But I'm going to ask for everybody's leadership player here in a few days, hopefully sooner than that, where I just need you to send to me who it's going to be, who's going to get it. Simple as that. I believe we have everybody's diamond in the rough finally taken care of, except for Alex and Detroit. They let me know who it was, but I don't think they told me what they were putting on him, so we'll figure that out. Not a big deal. But I'll need everybody to send me that. And I also have had this sent to me by several teams But again, I'm going to need everybody to resend it when I ask for it, and that's going to be the contracts on the players. If you have a human player, I'm going to give every owner the benefit of the doubt and believe they're going to do this fairly. I'm going to give you 48 hours to make contact with a human player. Send them the contract. Give them 48 hours to respond. Human players, you're hearing this now. You have 48 hours to respond to the team owner when he sends it. So be on Slack often. They could send them to you as soon as I'm done speaking the sentence, or maybe not for another day or so, because I need to get this information probably within the next week, maybe 2 weeks tops, and that'll be the contract links. But as soon as you send it to a player, if he does not respond in 2 days, I'm giving you the opportunity to sign him to whatever the hell you please. I think that's fair. What do you think?
Sounds good to me. Sounds good to me.
Give them a 48-hour window to figure it out. If they want it and have the negotiation, and then boom, you can tell me, look, I reached out to him. Here it is. And if said player argues it, all you got to do then, owner, is send me a screenshot from your Slack saying, look, here it is. I'm showing you now. I clearly sent it to him. Then he's locked in. And like I said, some teams have given me this information. I had it. I wasn't even focusing on that because I didn't need it then. So my apologies for guys who were trying to get ahead of the game. But I want to make sure I do everything at the right time when it's needed so I get it all squared away. So that said, it's time for the schedule release show.
Wait.
So I say to you, are you ready?
Yep.
Yep. I guess everybody else is ready as well in the chat. I know there's not going to be as many people here because we're doing these shows in the afternoon. A lot of the guys will catch this on the replay. So we're going to go through the schedule. We're going to go into the week one. We're going to try and break down week one pretty in depth. But then we're going to go through each week little by little. This schedule will get posted on the website shortly after we go off the air here. So you can check it out for your own viewing. But with week one, Ed, I will not waste no time. We'll get right to your team that you are the co-owner of. Got it right this time.
Thank you. Finally, I get some damn credit.
But Bo Davis and Ed Ritter, the Boston Liberty, will be going on the road in week one to take on Jax Diamond and the Tampa Bay Stallions. So that's your week one game, and we'll get into all these games here in just a minute.
I'm looking forward to it.
But to go back through the Atlantic Conference games, the Dallas Wranglers will be on the road and take on the Baltimore Bulls. The Atlanta Rhinos will travel up north to take on the Philadelphia Flight. And the Nashville Nightmares will also head north and take on the New York Cobras. So before I even get into the Pacific Conference games, Boston Liberty at Tampa Bay Stallions, Dallas Wranglers at Baltimore Bulls, Atlanta Rhinos at Philadelphia Flight, Nashville Nightmares at the New York Cobras. Your thoughts?
Well, right away, I mean, it pops out. It's 3 new owners against 3 owners that have experience, know what they're doing.
Right.
And then there's one game that is both owners already know what they're doing. So
Indeed.
It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what those 3 new owners come up with. I mean, you look at the teams they got to face. Dallas is going against Baltimore.
The Victory Cup.
That
team.
I mean,
they went to the Victory Cup and came up short. So they're taking on the second best team from last year to open the season.
And they're taking on 2 guys that have lots of experience.
Right. And to point out what you're saying,
Atlanta taking on.
They're all on the road too. The 3 new owners are all on the road.
Yes, all on the road. So that makes it even more. Because you and I have talked about this. I know several other people have talked about this. We truly and honestly believe that there's something to the home field advantage in this game.
Right.
It's hard to explain, but if you watch the games, you'll understand.
Indeed.
But like you said, the 3 new owners on the road at teams that have established owners, established coaches, you name it, you say,
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's going to be interesting.
Just shared the Atlantic Division Week 1 schedule in the chat in case the guys didn't see it. But, yeah, Boston at Tampa Bay is the only game from the Atlantic Conference that has 2 owners with experience. Bo Davis last year with Boston and Jax. And then, like I said, you got the 3 new owners that are in this conference all go on the road. And when you look at the teams they're playing, like you were saying about Baltimore, finished second in the league, lost in the Victory Bowl. The Philadelphia Flight, for the longest time, was one of the most powerful teams the league had to offer. And then the Cobras, by far, with the first 2-3 weeks, fall under that same sentence, one of the most powerful teams we had to offer. And they've made some major changes to their team build this season. So when I look at this from standing back and looking at it, I'm just like, Boston and Tampa Bay is going to be interesting. And I'm going to say this by looking at your team. You're going up against a nasty front 4. They got 3-star linemen. How well are you guys going to be able to run the football? It was no secret Boston struggled to run last year for the longest time. Late in the season, figured it out. Will it still suffer because of this front? That's one thing that stands out to me in this game. Dallas and Baltimore, looking at that game, I was trying to really break that game down in my head, and I was just like, I can't get past it's being TJ. I can't get past it being mighty, and they're going against a brand new owner, Mr. Monk. So I that's the only thing can't get through to my head, But I know he's got the gold quarterback and he's got the gold wide receiver in Dallas, but Baltimore's got that gold corner. And from my experience, I've always noticed a gold corner normally beats a gold wide receiver. Not always, but most of the time. So it's almost like his receiver gets taken away.
Well, we'll let this out there because it's no secret. We've done our research. Mm-hmm. I've done it. You've done it. And we've both found out that that people who's played this game longer than we have believe that when you have a gold corner against a gold receiver, the AI gets nervous.
Right.
We're not sure why it is that way, but it does look at. I mean, we'll look at New York. New York had, my son, Drew, his guy was a gold receiver. When he played teams that had a gold corner against him, he was not – they weren't throwing the ball.
Right.
And that was even early on in the season when that's all they did was throw. They would not throw him the ball.
Right. That's what I'm saying. From my experience from playing this game and being involved in 7 leagues, I agree with that thought. That a corner beats the receiver. Not, like I said, not all the time, but more often than not, I believe that it happens.
Right, so and like I said, I'm not sure why that is in the game like that. I don't.
Shut down corner, baby.
Yeah, I guess, but at the same time, even the best shutdown corners in any league will have times when they're not the best.
Right.
But it seems like this game has got them on there where they're shut down corner all the time, sort of. When you watch it, it's kind of weird. So, but yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, to continue touching on that, I just think that hurts because Dallas Whitaker's the gold wide receiver. I think he gets almost null and void in the game, which is one of their gold players immediately eliminated. And then Charlie Monk, who's their silver receiver, their top receiver, because Kelvin Gibbons is the bronze corner. He's going to have to take on Billy Blackburn, who's their gold wide receiver, and Evan Muir, who's a silver wide receiver. So they got the gold wide receiver in Baltimore and a silver wide receiver in Baltimore, and their defenders are going to be a tier lower at covering each guy, which I think is helping them out with TJ Speaks throwing the ball at silver. And he did well as a silver quarterback last year as well.
Yes, he did.
So, I mean, I would give the Duke to Baltimore to begin with because of the experience, knowing what they're doing, been there, done that. And I don't like the matchup for Dallas just for some little things here and there. They have the bronze running back. Until you show me you can use a bronze running back and have the book of Ramos Lynn in your pocket to know how to use a bronze running back, then I'm not going to be gaga for your running back because I've only seen one person really use one to that degree, and that's who it was. And so until I see another guy can do it, I don't know. So, like I said, we can get more into this, but I'm going to go to Atlanta and Philadelphia. And the first thing that stands out to me in this game is Philadelphia has gone away from, in my opinion, the running game when you see that they've gotten 4 wide receivers. They've got a silver in Johnny Gett, a silver in Alfonso Montgomery, a bronze in Charlie Powers, and a copper in Landon Skipman. But Ethan Cobbs, who is their running back, is the gold. So I guess that's to counter it, try to stay balanced, try to keep teams guessing. But that gold running back stands out to me just because Atlanta clearly is going to run a 3-4, in my opinion, because Antonio Slayer, inside linebacker, Toledo Hernandez, inside linebacker, Tank Sherman, outside linebacker, and Justin Jenkins, outside linebacker. All 4 are bronze players. And as you know, in this league, we can put 5 abilities on a bronze player, so maybe that helps.
Stud. And they'll be a stud. It could be a stud.
But they got 4 linebackers, all 4 at bronze, with the possibility of all being maxed out to 5 abilities. One of them could have easily been the diamond in the rough as well for this team. But does a 3-4 do well against all those wide receivers? Because they have a gold corner in Johnny Blades III. Champ Revis was phenomenal last year. He's at silver. Terry Stone, who was with Philadelphia last year, is a strong safety at silver. And then Brett Pike is the free safety coming in at copper. These are the guys who are going to take on these 4 wide receivers. Same thing, though, for me. And I'm going to sound like a broken record as we go through these 3 games because DW6 Killer's a rookie, and Davis figured a lot out last year with Philadelphia. He's had to find something, in my opinion, to go with these 4 wide receivers. That alone is going to give me Philadelphia as the favorite. But what do you think?
This out there now to Mr. Sixth Killer. If you're running a 3-4,
no shit,
and you have questions, you know where to come to, because I'm the guy that proved that I can use it.
Oh yes, no doubt.
So I have no problem helping guys figure stuff out. If you have any questions, hit me up on Slack. I'll do my best to answer.
Let me rub your ego.
Your question.
Let me rub.
Please do, because I need somebody to do.
I'll rub Ed's ego. For those of you not in the know, why he makes this statement, because it is very true. It is very accurate to those who still doubt the availability of a 3-4 in this game. Ed was thrown to the wolves when he took over the San Francisco Bulldogs, and the team had at the time the next to last ranked defense in the league. By the time the season ended, I think they went from 15th. I think you got them up to 7th, 8th, 9th area to end the season. Overall, best defense. But if you took just the games Ed did, running a 3-4 with a team that was not even designed for a 3-4 defense, but he did it anyway because that's what he felt comfortable running. His defense was the second best in the league with his particular weeks. His average for those weeks, the second best. And then,
honestly, I had no clue until you told me that.
Yeah, I know. I was just curious as to how effective it was, so I got nosy and I went and wanted to go look. Because you was like, I'm so convinced, and I'm like, well, I don't know. I'm gonna research it. And I was like, well, shit, you have the second best defensive yards allowed average in the league for the weeks that you've been running this team. And you took them from 15th to I think you finished 8th in the league that year. So to me, that proves a lot in itself. So yeah.
And I'll throw this out there too. To any new owners that are doubting yourself, best thing to do, especially for defense, find a defense you're comfortable running and just run it. Run that defense. run as many sims as you can, and just run that defense.
Indeed. But to get to this game, Atlanta and Philadelphia, is there anything that stood out to you with this particular game? Or are you pretty much echoing what I was saying?
Oh, I'm pretty much echoing what you're saying.
Yeah, like
because
I said,
we're all thinking it. Because I mean, look at what Philly has now. He's got all those wide receivers, and like you said, he's got the gold running back. Honestly, in my opinion, I think he's making a mistake.
That was my initial thought.
I think he's going away from what his strength is, and he didn't need to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm willing to go on record. He was the best running team in the league. That's my opinion.
Yeah. And we all know what happened. He freaked out, lost his damn mind there for a while. And he did what he did. He owned up to it. He said, "Hey, I freaked out. I did what I did. You know."
And he had Duke in his ear.
Why go away from what's working?
He was hearing Duke in his ear. For those of you not sure who I'm referring to, I'm referring to Duke from Rocky, and he heard him in the corner. Throw the damn towel, you know, and it was.
Shit.
Like I said, I'll go to my grave with this one. I believe without a shadow of a doubt he was the best running team the league seen last year. No one could even come close. A lot of people say Arizona came close there down the end, but the thing was, Arizona did it late, and they did it often, all the time, not just once in a while. It was like from the very beginning, they ran the ball effective. And I thought for sure he found something, and then he added the fullback. Once he added that fullback, their running game got nasty. And, I mean, it was really freaking nasty. Johnny Frost just was like a huge, huge part of that team, was a major, major difference maker. And I was like, okay, now that he was thrown into the wolves, if you will, here to figure this out quickly, because he made the trade just on a whim to see if it would work. And to me, it worked. And I think everybody else agreed with it that it worked. I was like, this guy now knows it works. He's going to run this now for sure this upcoming season. And you guys better be prepared to shut him the hell down. And then this is what I got for a team build. And I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, there's no fullback. There's no.
But, you know.
Unless.
Mm-hmm.
Because he picked up the guard. Unless he's thinking the guard's going to do what the fullback did.
That's a possibility. It's not a bad assumption there. Maybe that's exactly what the thought is. And I would hope he'd keep all these thoughts to himself. But I know Al Davis is like a couple other people in this league. I ain't afraid to tell you what the hell I think. So, yeah, I mean, maybe that is the thinking. Maybe that is the thought. I'm not sure. And I know he was in the chat. Let's see if he's in there talking at all. He says, where did running get you? When you run the ball so much, you become predictable. Also, what did Arizona have? A passing game? Arizona really didn't have much of a passing game. They probably didn't pass much.
No, they didn't pass it hardly at all. Just here and there just to keep them honest. But other than that, they hardly passed it at all. Go watch their games.
Yeah.
They ran that running back who's no longer on that team because my co-host here, freaked the hell out.
Just a little bit.
I'm going to tell everybody right now. This is the honest to God's truth. All year long, we'd have private conversations on the phone, and he was crying all year long. I can't have my guy doing this. I can't have. People's going to say, I'm cheating. I'm doing it. This. I can't do. He says, if it keeps this up, I'm retiring my guy at the end of the year. I ain't having no questions, no nothing. He says, and we heard it during the championship game. He freaked out then. He was very upset about it. He was so.
Yeah. That is what it is, right?
I mean, yeah. But honestly, and you can admit it, that was their offense was your player. Really was.
Yeah. So, but let's see, where were we now? I'm gonna get to the next game because we can spend a lot all day on every team. All right.
Nashville at New York.
Yeah, the Nightmares at the Cobras. Now, when you look at the Nightmares build, the gold free safety, gold running back, gold quarterback. New York's got the gold corner, gold safety, gold quarterback. So, kind of the same, right? Quarterback, running back, free safety, and they got quarterback, corner, strong safety. So they each got the quarterback. They each got a safety back there. One's a free, one's a strong. One went with the running back, one went with the corner. So CJ Coates gets traded for in the offseason to come over from Tokyo, where he was a bronze and played, I think, very well. I mean, he wasn't a shutdown corner, but he was very good. Gets a huge upgrade to gold.
I'll say this because you and I are friends with CJ. I would call him a lot after the games and go, "Oh man, your guy had a good game," except for the 5 passes that he dropped.
Yeah, he was
what do you mean? So he could have had 5 interceptions, but he dropped them all. Oh, that's bull crap. What? Oh yeah,
that was freaking hilarious. But it's an upgrade. Now, I personally went and I asked Taco straight up. I'm like, why did you trade down in the first round for a corner that's already in the league when you could have stayed where you were and got a corner? His exact words were, this is the exact type of corner I want based on skills, which means abilities, and the size. He said nothing in the draft was appeasing to the availability of this particular player, so he was willing to go from 2 to 6, which really wasn't much of a drop. So you go from 2 in the draft to 6, and you end up with a gold player plus your 6th pick overall in the first round. Not a bad day. So, but to continue on, they got 2 silver wide receivers. There's 2 silver wide receivers on this team, and there's a silver corner and a bronze corner for Nashville, which, like I said,
because
it's not a big deal.
Dropped the gold wide receiver that they really weren't using.
Yeah,
because
I think they learned.
I'm kind of biased. I'm a little biased because it's my son's player. How many times? I wasn't the only one. How many times have guys get in during their game, throw it to the gold wide receiver? Why aren't you throwing it to the gold wide receiver?
Mm-hmm.
So, maybe he figured something out now.
Possibility.
Because honestly, to me, watching their games last year, Drew Ritter wasn't really a wide receiver. He was out there to, get the attention of the defense, which left Mr. Zeli open a lot. Because they threw a shitload of passes to Zeli last year. Zeli, however he says it.
Zeli.
But right. Yeah, he was open a lot and caught a lot of balls.
Right now, like you said, they went from the gold. Now they're following which I've noticed is a kind of a small pattern here in the league. I don't know if anybody's taken notice to it, but they got the 2 silver wide receivers. I don't know if anyone's taken notice to it or took the time to look at it, but 9 teams. This is, in my opinion, a lot of teams. 9 teams here in the IFL have 2 silver wide receivers. Is there a reason for this? I don't even know if you've noticed that. Yeah.
I'm starting to notice it. Yeah.
Is this a trend? Is there a reason for it? I don't know.
I think everybody's starting to figure it out. I think you can use silver wide receivers just as effective as a gold.
I'm going to bring up a player. I got to bring up a player, and I don't want to change the subject that quick, but I happened to realize he's sitting there, and I forgot all about him, and I wanted to touch on him. And that's the 5'6" Theo Flood, the running back that's at silver for the Cobras. Can a 5'6" player hold up in this league?
Well, we know that Shorty held up in the other league.
He got injured quite a bit though over there. And I'll say this:
but at one point he was still the best rusher in the league.
Right. Now he's 5'6". They got a gold free safety, they being Nashville, the silver outside linebacker. Then they got the bronze inside linebacker, bronze strong safety, bronze corner, and then they come back with a second free safety in Jamal Gordon at copper. So it's not like he's going up against any defensive lineman because this team has no defensive lineman. Does that help his little tiny stature? Or will these, like Elijah Meggett is a free safety. Will Elijah Meggett just come downhill and just smash this guy in the next week? To me, it's a strong possibility.
Well, that could happen, but at the same time, I hate to keep references over it, but we have to because that's what only thing we can reference. The little man over there, and we all know it, Park G2, was small like this, and there was times when they ran him up the middle, he stood there, and nobody saw him. He kind of stood there and waited for a second and then took off because he was so small. Yeah, you didn't see him, and then boom, it's just the same thing that's going to happen. And we can say it now. It honestly could.
Right. Now, he does have a third wide receiver. He didn't go with 4 this season, he being New York and Taco. He does have a third wide receiver, though, in a bronze Quentin Huff to go along with Drew and Zeli at silver. So he's clearly still going to want to throw the football, it appears. Joel Lewis is now throwing the ball. King Cannon's gone. King Cannon's in Philadelphia, which we didn't really touch on him. And he went from gold in New York all the way to bronze in Philadelphia.
Bronze.
Had to be a reason for that. And like I said, we'll get more into these games as we get closer.
I'll tell you what it was. He sucked.
He got a demotion.
He got a demotion.
I'll let you be the defensive coordinator, but you're going to be a bronze. No.
That's right. Because he wanted to cut down on them interceptions.
Oh, yeah.
And Cody, we're just teasing you because we gotta mess with you because it's fun. Because he'll mess back, which is great.
I don't want to stay on Philadelphia and King Cannon, but I do got to say this: King Cannon couldn't read a defense if his life depended on it last year, but now he's going to call defense. This should be an interesting situation.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, to me, it's just too much of a climb for Nashville to beat New York. But of the 3 owners, I like his chances the most. The 3 new owners. I don't know if you'd agree with that statement.
Oh, I agree that 100% because he's going against Taco, who is taking everything on his own now. And I say this with love because we all love Taco, but Taco's insane, and we all know that.
Just a little bit.
So,
just a little bit.
So you got to take that with a grain of salt, but we'll see what he does now that he's on his own.
Right.
So
he's calling everything by himself this time. All by his lonesome.
It's different. It is a whole other animal when you're doing it all by yourself than if you have other guys around you to bounce things off of. And it's different.
Right. Now, one thing's for sure, and Mark will tell you this, they didn't seem to do too much communicating last year anyway. So yes. I don't know. What the hell was going on there?
There were several times, Mark said, I didn't know that. Sorry, I didn't hear. I didn't get the memo. So yeah,
right.
So maybe I don't know. I don't know what the deal was there. I'm not going to get. Yeah, we're not going to get into all that and start all kinds of drama. But
yeah,
that is.
I
what
just want to see. I was honestly hoping if Mark got a team, he was going to be more on the East Coast, so those two could play. Maybe even be in the same division and what have you.
Right.
But if they get to play, it'll end up obviously having to be in the championship game, just to see who was the one to thank for any of their success and who was to blame for any of their lack of thereof. But any more thoughts, though, on these Atlantic games?
No, I think we covered it pretty good.
Because, obviously we can get back into them, but this way we can move on to the Pacific games.
Mm-hmm.
And bring these up because I think these are some hellish games. I think these are going to be some good games as well. And we don't have as many new owners in the Pacific side of things. There's only 3 of them, I believe. And it's No, there's 4 new guys, 5 new guys. Yeah, there's 5 new owners here. I had it backwards. More of the new owners are in the Pacific. That's right. As you got Chicago, you got Green Bay, you got San Diego, Detroit, and Winnipeg, all new owners. And the only guys with any kind of experience are Arizona, which is Stevie T. Diggs, Tokyo, which is Ramos Lynn, and I think that's really it. I mean, other guys have experience somewhere else, but still.
But what works over there, when we've already said it, doesn't work here. And we've all figured that out.
Indeed. So, without further ado, since I know he's in the chat and he's waiting and raring and ready to go, before I do that, let me think. We have a couple comments here, and I'll touch on.
Yeah,
Chris Davis says, I also hate to keep this going, but what I want is a balanced offense. In no means am I running away from the running game. But when you run so much, you're going to make defensive coordinators call blitzes and stack the box. You cannot stack the box against 4 wide receivers. You will get fried. Valid point. Chisholm responded his completion percentage was higher throwing to other teams than his own, referring to King Cannon, obviously. Chris Davis then states, it'll be interesting, huh? I told Cody I'll give him suggestions since not only focused on the offense but defense. It won't be a higher percentage with my scheme. That is all. It'll be the other way around when my wide receivers pick apart defenses. So he's showing his confidence, which he is not shy to show. All right. So that's catching up on some of the stuff going on in the chat room. So to get to the games, like I said, no further ado, since he's there, we will state that the Denver Yeti will start the season out on the road as they get to travel to San Diego and take on the Bulldogs. The Green Bay Grizzlies will be on the road, and they will travel to Winnipeg to take on the Crusaders. The Detroit Hawks will be on the road as they travel to Chicago to take on the Assassins, and we'll get to that game here in a minute because I know that's something Alex been wanting, and this was a random draw too, which was great. Meaning that the defending IFL champions, the Arizona Outlaws,
wait for it,
will start off defending the title on the road against the only team that has beaten them, the Tokyo Kitsune.
And I hear the tears going now. The tears have already started to fall.
And why is that?
Ramos is in Mexico crying right now.
Why is that?
I believe he cried because you guys got put in the same division. There was a couple other things he cried about, but he didn't want anything to do with Arizona. He just didn't want nothing to do with it. So, hey, the luck of the draw.
Gets in week 1.
Obviously, the computer thing that you put this stuff through felt that was the best matchups for each other. So,
yeah,
excuse me. But, we're going to go to that game right now real quick before we go to the other ones. And it's understandable why Ramos would be nervous about that game. Because he did get you once. Got to Arizona once. And I say you because you were on that team. But that's the thing.
Yeah,
your guy's not there anymore.
Right.
Yeah, your guy's not there anymore. It's a whole different running back. It's a whole other thing now. So he's got to look at it. That's a positive. In my mind, that's a positive. Because that fat man is not there to run the ball anymore. And there's no more battering ram, which was clearly a damn.
In the words of Mark Chisholm, it was a cheat code.
Yes.
Which couldn't be any more but truth, because it really was. It was ridiculous.
And then if you look at Tokyo's team, I think he's got a gold, silver running back now. What the hell was it?
You talking about Tokyo?
Yes, he went with. See, he's got a gold running back now.
Yeah, Jazz Vanderboom.
We all know how good he is with a bronze. Because like you said earlier, he is one of the few guys we've ever seen that can make a bronze a complete
look like a gold
dominating stud. Yes. Now he's got what everybody consider is a stud just because he's a gold. Everybody right away, if you get a gold running back, oh my God, you got a stud.
Right.
What's he going to do with that gold now?
Yeah. That's the scary part for not just, Arizona, who they play week 1, but the entire league. You don't even have to be in the Pacific Conference, because if he can get to the championship game, what's the Atlantic Conference going to do against him? Because he's made bronze players at running back look like a gold. What will he make a gold player look like? He'll be a whole different element that this league doesn't have.
Super platinum? I don't know.
Super platinum. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Maybe diamond.
Yeah, maybe something.
I believe diamond's above platinum.
Something.
Yeah. Wow. So, then taking a look at Arizona. Arizona's got another running back at gold like last year. This time they have Kit Rambo. No, we don't know nothing about Kit Rambo and what they're doing with him and how he's built and what he's going to look like, what he's bringing to the table, because, quite frankly, this was a creation of Mr. Diggs, because he only had himself last year. So he made his offensive player himself at Kit Rambo, and we've never really released his height, weight, or any of that yet, so no one knows exactly how big this player is.
I'm going to say this. My guess would be real simple.
Mm-hmm.
Arizona is going to be, I hate to compare them to this team, but
oh God,
they're going to be New England, which means they're going to be a system team, which means they're going to be able to throw anybody in that system and run it.
That could be a fair statement.
I think that's how it's going to play out. They're going to run the same system they were running. They're not going to change. The only thing that changes the pieces and parts here and there. Other than that, everything's pretty much the same. They're just going to run it. Why? Like I keep saying, I'm going to keep telling owners this, and other owners that's been around doing it for a while will agree with me. Don't change it if it's not broke.
Right.
Don't fix it. If it's not broke, don't fix it. Let it go. And clearly they found something that worked, because it took them all the way to the championship and they won, and they only lost one game.
Right. What they found was battering ram.
Can that be? That's good. That's the thing we're going to be talking about all year. Right. Since battering ram is no longer allowed, can that, was that the factor?
And I want to say this, since you brought it up about this team, about the pieces and the parts. It's the exact same team as last year, except for 2 players and 1 player changing tier. So 14 players. Mario Savage, because of the rule change of only having 2 golds and 5 silver last year, we now went with 3 and 4. He gets to move from silver to gold. Will that help improve the passing game? That, to me, they had an average passing game. Does that improve it? And outside of that, the other 2 golds are exactly what they were last year, the running back and the strong safety, the double silver wide receivers, the corner and the free safety at silver, corner, outside linebacker, inside linebacker, and tight end at bronze. And then at copper, they have an outside linebacker, just like last season. Here's your difference. They had a 3rd wide receiver and a 2nd free safety. Instead, this year, they're coming back with a defensive tackle in Husky House and a defensive end in Willie Robinson. And when I looked at these players here, I'm wondering, does this help out their running game? Because when you look at the defensive end of Willie Robinson, I think I said his name. Yeah, he's 6'5", but he's only 266, and he has bull rush, swim move, leadership, pass rush bonus, speed burner, and rip. What abilities are they going to put on him? And Husky House at 6'6", 352, with club, swim, leadership, pass rush bonus, stamina bonus, and reach tackle. One thing's for sure, between these 2 defensive linemen, they should be able to get to the quarterback, something they did very well last year without linemen. Because let's think about something. There was a time when Arizona was leading the league in interceptions and sacks. the defense was doing that good. So they've now eliminated a second free safety and added 2 pieces to the defense. Does that help out this already amazing defense? But again, this is Tokyo, and Tokyo is not to be taken lightly. Jazz Vanderboom, they're going with double corners at gold. That touches on what you were saying. They like to run the football. Does 2 gold corners become null and void against a team that wants to run the football, or will they actually throw the football this year? They have their own pair of double silver wide receivers. Mookie Whitaker, who I was just saying, they got rid of the second free safety. It just so happened to be Mookie Whitaker, who is now the silver free safety for Tokyo. Ron Smith at strong safety. James Dupeset's back at quarterback. Boo Weaver's back at kicker. They got Tom Green at tight end. Matt Sanders at the inside linebacker. And they have Eddie Newberry, a defensive tackle at Copper. Jason Bryant at Copper, a corner, and an outside linebacker, and Pete Chavez. So clearly a defensively built team is what this team is to me. It's clearly defensive heavy. And they're going to need it against the team that was one of the more prolific offenses, I believe. But to me, Arizona won the championship because of that defense. That's my honest opinion. Even though they had cheat code on offense.
Yeah.
So I just was shocked when this was the game that came through. When this game came through as the game, I was just like, wow, this is clearly going to be a huge game right to start the season on. So, any more comments on this one?
Nope.
Okay, then we'll get into the next one here. You can pick it. Which one you want to discuss first? We've already discussed a couple of them here. What do you got?
Let's go to the Grizzlies at the Crusaders.
The Grizzlies and the Crusaders. Interesting game. And here's why. 2 new owners. Both owners who have stood up and said, hey, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. They've both said that to me. That they're still confused on some things. They're still learning. And I think this is going to be a good test for both of them to take on another guy themselves that is kind of, we'll figure it out. When you look at the Crusaders, I love how they got the gold quarterback, gold running back, gold strong safety. Do you know why I say that?
No, I don't.
That is the exact same gold setup of the defending champions.
Well, there you go.
Did they see that as a recipe to follow? Because to me, following what I seen in this league last year, I'm not 100% sold the quarterback has to be gold, but I do think a gold running back is, without a doubt, a magnificent piece to have on your team. And I do think a gold strong safety is almost cheating because I think it's that dominant if you use him properly. So to me, they had the 2 best pieces that they could have on their team on each side of the football. And the quarterback's just kind of like the cherry on top. They, like other teams, 2 silver wide receivers, silver defensive back, but playing corner Matthew Clark, and they got a silver defensive end, one of the very few linemen that are not copper, a silver defensive end. Then they have the highest special teams player in the entire league in Lou Bacon at kicker. Another corner. Yeah, because it's your sons. You get a kick out of that. Corner
I
at
just got a
bronze.
kick out because he threw a fit.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great.
I just be higher than that. No, son, you're not going to be higher than where you're at because you're
funny.
a kicker.
He was angry. His kicker was only a bronze. But yes, corner at bronze, a free safety at bronze, an inside linebacker at bronze, 2 outside linebackers at copper, and Buster Romo rounds out their coppers at tight ends. The Grizzlies, they went a completely different route. I thought they were following the blueprint from Boston at first because they got a corner, a defensive tackle, and an outside linebacker, all at gold. So they went with somebody on the line, someone with the linebackers, and another one in the secondary to cover all 3 elements of the defense at gold. Added a silver free safety in Turtle Jackson, who was a beast with Tampa Bay, but then have a silver quarterback, a silver running back, and a silver wide receiver. That wide receiver is Isaac Fulmer, who was clearly one of the top 5 wide receivers we had in the league last year. Thomas Goodhart, who owns the team, tight end at bronze. Connor Justice, wide receiver at bronze. then a bronze corner and a bronze strong safety. And then again, defensive heavy, inside linebacker, outside linebacker, and a defensive end, all at copper. Green Bay is planning on trying to shut you down. It looks like they're trying to load up on defense and win low-scoring ball games. Can they do it against a team that's got a gold quarterback, a gold running back, and 2 silver wide receivers?
Good question.
It's a great matchup.
Very good.
I mean, you can go in almost any direction here to pick this game apart. But it's just an all-around, to me, offensive-built team against a defensive-built team. I really do find it to be that way. And like I said, with Winnipeg, they're built heavy on the defense down in the lower tiers. So I think that helped them, considering the build of Green Bay. It might help them jump out the blocks with a 1-0 record. If you were to force me to bet right now, I'd put my money on Winnipeg in this one.
And I'm gonna, agree with you what you said. This is a perfect matchup for both of these guys.
Yeah,
because they're first year owners. Both of them, like you said, have reached out to you. And, they've reached out to me because they've just been freaking out. What do I do? What do I do? Relax. Do your thing.
Right.
Biggest thing, new owners, I'll tell you. Doug will tell you because he's been an owner. Any of the guys that have been owners before will tell you. Don't overthink it.
Right.
When you start overthinking, that's when you get in trouble.
Mm-hmm. This is very accurate. Very true.
Because you have to understand one thing. Because it took me a while when I started, in the other league, started being an owner. Because technically I was. They threw me in. I was my team. I owned it.
Right.
I took it over. I was running everything. I was overthinking stuff at first because it didn't register, but it has now. That's why I don't freak out anymore. It is a game that the computer does what it wants. Honestly, it really does. You can set up everything the way you think is absolutely perfect, and we've all seen it. All owners will tell you they think they've got the perfect setup, but the computer, the AI, does something so stupid, and you shake your head and makes you want to overthink things. But that's where you can't. You can't. You just got to kind of go with it, to see what happens.
You mean doing a fake field goal when they shouldn't? I know all about that.
Or the whole stupid trying to call guys offside so early and making you lose a timeout so early in the game and stuff like. We have no control over any of that crap. The AI is going to do what the AI wants to do. Plain and simple. The only thing we can do is set up our team the way we want it set up and hope that we got the right plays that we want and hope the AI runs it right. If it doesn't, you got to shake your head and say, hey, shit happens.
Indeed.
Because I can honestly tell you, and Doug can tell you because he's talked to me. In the other league, I was pissed. I would get angry. I would get upset. And I would like, this bullshit. I didn't know. I don't do that anymore. Because I realized it took me a while, but I understand now. That you're not controlling it. You're not pushing the buttons. So the AI doesn't think the way you think. Plain and simple. The AI is set up to do whatever the AI does by the guys who created this game. So when you start understanding that, and you start understanding that if I get this play and the computer can do it right, it works. It won't. Once you start figuring all that out, ain't no reason to get upset anymore. It really isn't.
Yeah.
It's just not. Because, look at what, I said I never wanted to talk about it again because what happened, but look what the pack did. I never freaked out one time. I didn't get nervous. I didn't get upset. I just didn't freak out because I knew my defense and I know how it works, and it works. And it was working because the defense kept us in a lot of games.
Right.
And it took me forever to make the guy that owned that team understand. Because he tried to, we got to make changes on. No, I don't. I don't have to adjust my defense. I know. I don't. That's not how real football works. You don't adjust your defense to their offense. You make them adjust their offense to your defense.
Correct.
Because I can honestly tell you this. All the years I played football, I played up till, I tried one time to go into college, but it just wasn't, I didn't like the work. It wasn't the football work. I didn't like going to class. I didn't like doing, so I said, fuck it. But guys will tell you, because Doug, you went there, you went in and got into some college, you went into some semi-pro, you went in this and that.
Right.
When you get on a team and guys that have played high school ball, whatever, so they can tell you the same thing. When you're on a team and you start learning the defense, you don't ever change that. That defense doesn't change all year long. You run the same defense all year long. A lot of times you run the same offense all year long. But what you do, especially on offense, is you adjust what your offense you're running of that defense. And a lot of guys just don't get that. It took me a while to figure that out, because once I figured it out, that if you apply actual football knowledge to this stuff, it will help you. It really, and you can ask any owner that's on there, any owner that's been an owner, they'll tell you the same thing. But your biggest thing is, don't freak out, don't get, all flustered, and don't throw in the fucking towel. And
said in fun.
So.
Shit.
Yes, because because that was his problem. That was his problem. He freaked out. He threw in the towel and said, fuck it. Remember, New York's problem was they listened to everybody else and said, oh my God, we got to get rid of the interceptions. Oh shit. Because I said it, you said it, Davis said it. Everybody else in the chat room said it. Oh my God, the interceptions is killing that team. They suck. Right. And as soon as they changed that, what happened? Right. They went from one of the top teams in the league.
Don't freak out.
To finishing dead last.
Right. And think about it. And your statement is, don't freak out as new owners.
Yep.
That's what you're telling them. And the guys we're talking on were new owners. Mm-hmm. They were new owners last year, so they had some of those moments. So, but we can dwell on that kind of stuff all episode long. So we can make a whole.
I didn't mean to get on a soapbox there, but I'm just trying to, guys.
We can make a whole.
I'm telling you, that anybody that wants to, any of the new owners that want to pick my brain, feel free. I am sure, without a shadow of a doubt, all the other owners that have been owners for a while now and understand will tell you the same thing. If you're new and you're freaking out, reach out to the other owners. We will help you the best we can. We're not going to tell you all our secrets, but we will help you.
Well, that leads us now to just 2 games left in the week 1. Which one you want to go to first?
Oh, God, let's go to that damn Denver team. That's right, Mark. I said it, and I'm going to say it all year long on every IFL show we have from here on out. It will be that damn Denver team.
All right. Well, it's that damn Denver team, the Denver Yeti. They get to travel to the Bulldogs of San Diego. And just to look at the gold setup, they're kind of similar, but kind of not. They both want to put a secondary guy at goal, both with the gold quarterbacks. But Denver went with a gold running back, and San Diego goes with a gold wide receiver in Shane Negron, who, for those of you not in the know, Shane Negron is my real-life nephew. He was a non-star number 3 or 4 wide receiver last year with Tampa Bay. So that's why I said during the expansion draft, it didn't surprise me my son grabbed him. So, like I said, 2 gold quarterbacks on both teams. a gold strong safety with San Diego. Again, I'm favored to that because I think it's very, very key. You got Don Hollow, who's a gold corner with Denver. Like I said, and then the other situations. But looking at the silver tiers, double wide receiver at silver for Denver. And then they have the silver defensive tackle and a silver corner in Cardinal Stevens. And San Diego's got a running back at silver, a corner at silver, another corner at silver, and an outside linebacker at silver. So something that stood out to me when I saw this was you got the double silver corners going up against the double silver wide receivers. So that was a key thing for me. Like I said, and they got the gold strong safety to help back that up with a bronze free safety in Trayvon Webb in San Diego. So can the quarterback of Corey Linton get through that? Copper tier, I'm going to go right to copper before I go to bronze. You got defensive end, inside linebacker, and outside linebacker with Denver. You got a wide receiver in Desi Watkins, a free safety, and a fullback. One of the oddest setups at copper in the league belongs to San Diego. Fullback, wide receiver, free safety. But to finish touching on the bronze, you got outside linebacker, tight end, strong safety, free safety for Denver. And as I said, the free safety with San Diego, they also got a tight end, which is one of the bigger tight ends in the league, and Tito Gonzalez, a wide receiver, and an inside linebacker. So you see San Diego's got 3 wide receivers. And the one thing that also stands out for me with Denver is both safeties are at the bronze. And that goes right along the lines of something we were talking about earlier when it said gold corners shot down gold wide receivers. Another thing I've always heard preached when it comes to this game in the sim world is if your safeties are not at least above bronze, they'll struggle. Now, I've seen some teams say, screw you, end that thought, and do very well. But I've also seen teams put their safeties in the bronze tier and struggle. Clearly, it comes down to coaching. Something Mark Chisholm has always done has been a defensive-minded coach. So does that take us away from even fearing that for this team?
Well, you would think, but at the same time, we'll say it because we got to say it. Because we only have one other place to reference stuff to, because honestly, of this game, there's only 2 leagues that use this game that we love. And honestly, we all love it or we wouldn't still be here.
Right.
What works in one place may not necessarily work in another, whether it's offense, defense, whatever.
And that's been proven.
Right. So he's going to have to figure out what works over here and not worry about, bringing stuff from over there over here. Because honestly, last year, we really don't know if they figured it out, if they didn't figure out, because like you said, it's been stated several times that, as far as New York went, they didn't have a whole lot of communication. So you don't know really how good they really could have been. And why that, we'll never know why that was. And, and I'm not trying to start,
right,
all kinds of crap. But, if it does, so be it. I don't give a shit. But, that's between
Instigator.
them. Hey, that's between them. I don't care. If they want to keep that shit between, that's fine. But if, they want to bring it out in the open and do whatever, okay, that's just something else for the league to have something to watch and keep us busy until the season starts. So, but yeah, we know what he does over there. He's pretty damn good. But now he's got to, here's his team. Now he's got to prove it. Can he be good over there and over here? Plain and simple.
Yeah, like I said, we'll see. But
because we're not, we're going to say it till we're blue in the face. We all know what cheese works over there. Because it works. The cheese is real. Everybody in this league knows it because we all saw it. Everybody, when we started this league, tried that cheese, and that cheese didn't work. People got blew the hell up, and we're like, shit. Everybody was like, oh, you got to be kidding me. Why didn't that work? And we had to scrap stuff and go back to the drawing board, and then people started figuring things out.
And why things didn't work? Things didn't work because Mr. Davis took time in his due diligence to find sliders to make you say, not over here.
Because Mr. Davis is like the rest of us and knew that's cheese, that's bullshit. And he said from the get-go when we started talking about all this and you brought me in, we're going to do this league. He said from the get-go, I am getting away from that damn shit. Right. He says, because that's not football. Yeah. And we agreed with him. That is not football. If you run the same play over and over and over and over and over and over and over, yeah. I'm sorry, but it does happen. I'm not going to lie because we've seen it. It does happen in real life and it does happen in real sports that if a play keeps working, teams will keep running it to a point. Right. But everybody was running that same shit and it just, it just got hard to watch and hard to look at because like, oh, here we go. Here's that play again. Oh, here's that play again.
Yep.
Here, it doesn't work, so everybody had to go and find something else. Chris found out that he could run the shit out of the ball, and he proved it. Arizona found out. Well, it wasn't help with the batting ram because we got to say that. They could run the shit out of the ball, and it worked.
Which goes to your statement of quote-unquote cheese. Right. I felt the battering ram was
the cheese.
So I want it gone.
Yep. Now, New York started off the season passing the shit out of the ball, and nobody could stop them. Once again, it's like I said, everybody's got to find their niche, so to speak. And I think everybody's doing a hell of a job figuring it out. Everybody's making this league fun. It's, my thing is this, and I hate to do this, but you know what? I don't give a fuck. Wait, sorry, my son's in there cracking up. He's laughing like crazy in there because I said that. Everybody knows me by now. I'm a straight shooter. I will tell you like it is. If I don't like you, you're going to hear it. If I like you, I'm going to be your best friend, and you're going to be my best friend for life. Simple as that. We said from the get-go when we started this league, being you, me, Chris, when we brought Kyle in to get involved, we didn't give a shit about the numbers, the views, the this, the that. We wanted to have fun. We wanted everybody to want to keep coming back and have fun. And at this point, I believe we have went far and beyond that. Because all these guys that are in this league get on there constantly. When's this start? When's that? We're ready. Let's go. Let's go. And there's no pressure for these guys to be in the games and watch the game at that time. They can watch it on and have fun and enjoy it, and everybody loves it. Because I can tell you right now, our numbers compared to some of the Madden leagues that I watch, just because I like to watch Madden too, there's a league that they do similar numbers to us, and they don't freak out.
Right.
And they got all the bells and whistles and everything, like the SFL. And they have fun. That's what it comes down to. It comes down to having fun. And I'm sorry, but I have to do it because I'm an ass. Because, everybody calls me the devil for a reason.
Jesus Christ.
Because, hey, I'm going on my soapbox, sorry. But
soapbox number 2.
That's right. Because I have told many people, because somebody asked me, what would you be doing? What do you really want to do? And I told them, I want to watch the world fucking burn as I sit back and roast fucking marshmallows.
Fantastic.
So, I am telling you now, I'm making a promise to this league. We are going to do everything we can to keep this league fun. And I will never, ever let myself go to the point where I have to say, do this, do that, and you'll win money, and you'll win this, and you'll win that. Because honestly, to me, that is desperation.
Said that in unison.
Desperation. When you have to say, can you do this, do this, do this, and you'll get this, and you'll get that, and you'll get that. You doubt yourself. You doubt your league. I don't doubt myself. I'm a 44-year-old man that has been through a lot of shit in my life. Yeah. Doug is 40 years old and been through a lot of shit in his life. All right. I have to, and I'll do it this way. I'm going on my soapbox, and so people understand where I'm coming from. My father has not been in the picture for since I was 3. I'm 43 years old. I haven't talked to him in 20, 30 years. And I can honestly tell you right now, I made a promise to the lady I'm married to, my wife, and I've been married to her for 22 years. When we started dating, we were dating a week, and I told her, if this goes into something else, because I was already feeling it, and I knew she was, and I told her, I said, if this goes into something else, I will never make the same mistakes he made, and I will be there on what he ever was. And that was my measuring stick for me. And I can honestly tell you, I feel the same way about this league. I will be here for these guys. I'm going to do what I can to help make this league grow, and I'm going to be here. Because that's the kind of guy I am. And you can ask Dougie. When the two of us get together and we work on something, it's pure fucking gold. Because we can run our mouths and toot our horns, because we ran wrestling e-feds for years that dominated the competition and made people quit.
Hell.
And then people tried to compare themselves to us and couldn't do it. And when they did, they got laughed at.
I do want to touch on of have fun, been through shit, been through this, been through that. To me, this is a game. It's a hobby. We should enjoy it. You know this to be true because we speak about it all the time. We spend way too much time dwelling on assholes and bullshit we shouldn't.
Yes, and we admit that I can't help it. I just
right. We admit that we do this, because like Ed said, this is supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be a game. You're supposed to enjoy it, which is why we have the watch it on your time. We don't care if you can watch a game. If you're an owner in this league and you do not watch one of your games live, okay.
I don't give a shit.
That's the way it goes. You have a life. Live your life. I mean, I have the unfortunate ability to sit here and say my life was not always fun, was not always great, was not always this. There was a time where I was homeless. I literally had nowhere to live. I lived in a freaking park. And I literally tried to make a mansion out of cardboard boxes and newspapers and stuff to stay warm or whatever when it was cold outside, because I wouldn't swallow my own pride and contact a family member and say, hey, I need some help. Knowing just about all of them would have been like, my door's open. We'll see you when you get here. I wanted to do it on my own. I wanted to be successful on my own. I'm also one of the few people I know of that have been shot and stabbed twice. I've been through that shit. So when I dwell on this kind of drama, I hate myself for it, because this ain't shit compared to what I've been through in real life.
True.
I've been there, done that, and I'm not proud of having to say that I've done it, because there was a time in my life where I was a big piece of shit. I was a big loser, but then there comes a time in your life when you realize these things and you correct your life. You become real, and it touches the statement that you also made of you'll be brutally honest. And I'll say this right now. That's one of the reasons why a lot of people aren't fond of me, because of my brutally honestness. Oh, you're just mean. No, I'm honest. And I've said it many times on other podcasts and on this before. Jack Nicholson, I think that's who it was, in Few Good Men, you can't handle the truth, is one of the most accurate statements ever made in a movie about life. People can't handle the truth. They can't handle reality. And the proof to that is
when it's plain as the nose on your face and you know it's true, but you still can't separate yourself from it, it just speaks volumes of how we are as human beings. We are who we are. We do what we do. It doesn't mean we're good people. It doesn't mean we're bad people. It's just, we go with what's normal instead of what we should do, what we should honestly do. So that's why I try not to dwell on things from the other place. I try not to dwell on him, and that's why I normally keep it out of my mouth until it's brought to me, until something's made directly at me. I mean, you and I did have a nice little chuckle at the San Francisco Shark thing. That's clearly the LA Sharks and San Francisco Bulldogs merged into one team. To me, a clear shot. But I don't care. Because, again, that's nothing like the shit we've been through in real life. So I want to take this, what we were doing, get right back to what the fuck we were doing. And that was Denver Yeti and the Bulldogs. And the one thing I do want to point out is a gold wide receiver is taking on a gold corner. Does that shut down Mr. Negron with the Bulldogs? I say yeah. And you got quiet. Uh-oh.
Might have lost Ed. He's had communication problems here and there. Not sure if he's lost or not. Let's see what's going on in the chat room. Fucking Chisel. It makes me happy to know the Denver Yeti roster brings out the best in the league. Tell us how you really feel. Stroke your ego a little bit more there, pal. I love it. I love when people just speak it how it is. It's great. Let's see. Yeah, we lost Ed. He's having these issues with his connection. Maybe I ought to call him on the phone and be like, leave the room and come back and we'll see. I'm gonna call him while we're live on the air. I don't know if you guys can hear it ringing or not. We're trying.
Hello?
We cannot hear you on the air.
Yes, I told you I'd be right back.
Oh, I think we can hear him now.
So hold on for a second. Dealing with Dwayne. Dwayne's freaking gagging and shit.
All right. He'll be with us in a moment. Okay, hanging up. Only on Inside the IFL do you have that kind of stuff happen. Davis says he's going to be happy. But his dog shuts us all up. Okay.
Sorry about that. Had to go deal with Dwayne.
Mark makes the statement in the chat room. He's glad that the Denver Yeti brings out the best in the league, as we went on another soapbox. And now he's asking, so who are we picking? And I'm making the statement now. Even though it's from another location, Mark has more experience with actual plays that may or may not work in sim style with this video game than Marcus does. So it's a huge plus. He's got the gold corner, which I think will help shut down the gold wide receiver over in San Diego. So, I mean, I'm not making picks. This isn't a pick show, but I mean, the odds to me are in favor of Denver for this one.
Oh, yeah, you can't argue with that.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's how I look at that.
Because, we won't lie. Because, Marcus's picture brain, you go, what do I do? What do I do? I think I got this right, but what do I do about this? And you had to tell it, calm down, relax. So, he's the new owner, still trying to learn everything.
Right.
Mark has an idea of what works for the sim stuff. So, yeah, he's clearly got the advantage. No one's going to argue that.
Indeed.
So, yeah. And like I said, I apologize for going on my number 2 soapbox. But, I just – people just got to understand. I've had enough. You've had enough. And I hate to keep bringing up shit and doing shit. But the whole point is, it just blows my freaking mind.
Yeah.
How much, not just you, not just me, but others have showed, what that guy has to do to keep his league going and doing this and try to keep people involved and this and that. And, a lot of people have questioned it. And it's been proven that he shows favoritism and he does fix them games. And I don't give a shit what anybody says. It's the truth. Because when you're told that this person or that person is going to make the playoffs and this person or that person is going to make the championship game, and that's what happens, people already know they already know. They can see it. Our league, honestly, nobody had a damn clue. You had no idea because everybody beat everybody. Anybody could beat anybody, and it back and forth all year long. Except there towards the end where teams, you knew they were out, they were out. It was, but for the longest time, nobody had. I mean, how long into the season did we go to? We're like, oh my God, anybody could take this. And I'm sorry, but I hate to beat a dead horse and I hate to keep bringing shit up, but it is, because, like I said, I'm an ass and, I don't give a shit. I'm tired of being Mr. Nice Guy because honestly, Mr. Nice Guy has gotten me nowhere. My wife will disagree with me. She'll say, well, it got me, you got me out of her being nice and you got all our kids now because you were down. I'm like, yeah. But in other sense, parts of my life, being a nice guy has gotten me nowhere. So now they're going to see the other side. The side my kids don't like. The side that other people that we've dealt with in the past, honestly, there were some that were afraid of this side of me. So, I'm tired of it. And like I said, when you have to pay a guy, in my personal opinion, to join your team, to join your team over there, just because he was a former NFL player and honestly he wasn't that great to begin with, just for his name, and to let him have an expansion team.
Say that again.
Let him have an expansion team.
Just gotta say that again.
That's named the San Francisco Sharks. Clear shot at me, clear shot at you. Hey! Sorry, but if people don't see it, they're never going to see it. And I might be talking till I'm blue in the face about it, but I'm going to keep doing it anyway. Because I've made a promise to my son. Because he asked me, Daddy, how long? How long, Daddy, before you end that place? Well, guess what? Daddy's starting the shit now. Because I'm going to talk to everybody and anybody that'll listen, and I'm going to show them just what that place is and how desperate a man has become because he's afraid of what we're doing just because we use the same game. And like I said, I'll give them all the credit in the world because they got bells and whistles. And there's a lot of people that love the bells and whistles.
Right.
But to me, I could give a shit less about the bells and whistles. As long as you're having fun and you get along with the community that you're with, and everybody and they enjoy what you're doing, in my book, you're better. You're better. But if you got to constantly, I need this, I need that, you can do this, you can do that, just to keep people involved, then I'm sorry. Maybe people finally wised up to just, I'll say it because I don't care how much of a piece of shit he really is. Because I have no use for people like that. I'm sorry to have to keep bringing it up, but, when I get notifications and I get this and that because it's still on my phone, on my computer, whatever, because I just haven't got off of it. Because I'm not going to lie. everybody does it. Everybody watches their competition because it kind of is. It's competition. Whether you like to admit it or not, it is. Because, not all of us can be Vince McMahon and buy out your competition and then ruin everything. Because that's what he's done. But that's a show for another whole time, which I want to do. I want to go on and all the wrestling fans that are in the IFL, I want to go on and have a – hold on for a second. Somebody's knocking at my door.
It's probably some people from Texas. I say that in kidding. Great stuff.
All right, I'm back.
Okay.
Sorry, I forgot I had the door locked, and my daughter got home from school. I forgot I had locked the door earlier.
Yeah.
Because Dwayne was in the room by himself, and I was doing other things, and I locked the door. So, yeah, I'm just weird when it comes to Dwayne.
Well, I can say this.
Anyway, like I said, it competition. I was saying everybody watches their competition because everybody tries to do something that their competition isn't doing, or try to take something their competition is doing and making it better. All right, so in a way, that's what I'm doing. I keep track of this. I'm sure they keep, they'll lie and say, "Oh, we don't watch it. It's bullshit," because you can see what they've done.
Right.
But that's just my, my whole thing is, it's just I don't get the whole how it's been laid out there for everybody to see and everybody understand, and there's still those guys that will follow him like lost little puppies no matter what. And I'll bring this up because he's in the chat and he was there. Chisholm even said he didn't know, he didn't realize half the shit that we said on the one show. We opened his eyes up to a lot of stuff because he just didn't, he didn't realize or didn't know or whatever. And I'm sure there's a lot of guys now that are starting to go, holy shit, that guy was right. Or that guy was right. This guy was, what the hell? Plain and simple. It just, I don't, like I said, I hate to do it, but I have to because I get shit built up and I look at stuff, and then instead of taking it out on other people in my real life, I'm going to go here and take it out on,
Well, here's the only thing
because I'm frustrated.
That whole thing.
Very frustrated.
Here's the one thing I want to say about the whole thing, because to me it's something that always has to be said. I was told that I, on a personal level, did more damage to that league than I did positives. And to me, that was the biggest piece of disrespect that league has ever spit out of their mouth, not just because it involved me, just because of the ridiculousness of the statement. And to me, that speaks volumes of his character, speaks volumes of who he is. I've done it when we first started this league. I did countless podcasts with you where I challenged him to join us on the air, talk about this as a man, present his case. I'd present my case, and I would let the community sit there and really realize who was which. Because I'll tell you now, God is my witness, swear on my father's grave. If you hear a conversation with me and him in private, you'd want nothing more but to jump through the phone, snatch him up by his throat, because of the way he acts. The way he is when he's got somebody one-on-one is way different than the guy you see on the air where he sounds like he's the gentleman. He's a kind guy. He's great. And I give him credit because that's how he acts. He's a freaking hell of a salesman. No ifs, ands, or buts. But again, when you make the statement, I've done more damage to your league than I've done good, it's the biggest slap in the face, the biggest lie, the biggest bullshit you could ever spit. And quite frankly, for me on a personal level, if anyone has any respect for me, and I don't mean this to say this to get guys on an uproar and say I'm calling them out, because I'm not. It's just a personal thought. If you had any respect for me, any class for me, anything towards me in any positive way, just knowing that alone, you would fucking tell him to go to hell. And you'd be done with him. And there is some guys who don't for their own personal reasons, and they have that right, and I respect their right for their decisions, and I don't hold it against them. I don't argue with them. But deep down, I have that they might as well just respect me as well to some degree kind of feeling. But here's what I have to say, though, about it. For a guy who did more damage to that league than he did good, there's no ifs, ands, or buts, and I've had this verified to me by multiple people, including, and I will name names, including TJ, including Destro, including Michael Irvine, which is his father, okay? There's several other people I can throw out there have stated in my time in that league with what I did to help him push that league grew more with me in it in one season than it did any of the other seasons combined. And it was my influence. They said it flat out. It was my influence. I had the biggest recruitment class he had ever seen in his life. Brought in tons of people. Tons of people. It was in double digits, almost 30 people. I think it was 24 to be exact. I'd have to actually go count it. 24 legit humans came to that league because of me, and he has 12 stars. I gave him 2 complete rosters of people. That's including myself and including Ed. That we were part of that 24. Also add in the fact that the pick'em, my idea. Okay? That was my idea. Podcasts, my idea. The fact that I
we can well,
what's that?
I'll go since you brought that up.
Huh?
He said several times that the podcast at one point was the best thing that was in the league.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody wanted to listen to the podcast.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. He makes that statement, but then the next statement is I'm doing damage. I told him when I entered the league, and Ed, you know this because this was actually comical. I came into the league trying to figure out who owners were, who this was. I didn't know who anything was. And we were in the draft, and we're trying to talk to owners because we want to make sure our guys get picked. I've reached out to a few people on Facebook who I could find by following the posts that were made on the Facebook channel that they had. I was able to reach out to Frank Gooden, Damon Simeon, Ronnie Nickens, T-Pat, and I think I'm missing somebody, but I'm not sure. But I reached out to these teams, and I was entered the draft to be a running back. The only true offer I ever got by any of these owners to be on a team was by the Tallahassee Pride when Frank said, if you're still there in round 2, I'll make you a linebacker.
Yeah, I remember that.
I'll make you a linebacker. Yeah, good. Let's do it. I was full head over heels for it. I was all in. I was ready to go. If that's what my option was to become part of this league, I wanted to do it because I watched a Santa Fe DC Dragon game. Santa Fe Gorillas DC Dragon, which was the championship game. And I was hooked. I thought he did an amazing job calling it. I liked the way it was presented. I just liked the action. Everything was awesome. I was in. I wanted to be a part of this. So you ended up watching the game as well. You wanted to do the same thing. So this was the way we could communicate with these owners. I know there's a bunch of owners, and I can't even reach half of them. We need to come up with a way of getting better communication around here because this Facebook thing just don't work because some people are private. And when I said TJ was one of the people, if I think I mentioned TJ, and I was inaccurate because TJ's super private and he doesn't really mess with Facebook. So I don't know if I said that or not, and I want to correct that. But in any case, I said, I got an idea. Let's start a community. Let's do a pro board type thing. Now, he had mentioned something like that was made before and it didn't work. And my exact words were, toot, toot, here's my ego.
I got this.
I wasn't doing it. I didn't run it. Now you got somebody who knows what he's doing. I'll take care of it. Watch it take off. Community was started. Guys joined the community. Communication got better. Things were awesome. The league picked up. The league got better. Everything became better. No question about it. The talent kept fluctuating in. I was advertising it for him everywhere, doing everything I needed to do to make that league the shit because I was having fun. And like I said, that's the facts. And then it was, we need to improve pro boards. Then enter Slack. Slack became version of pro boards. Pro boards then became Slack. Slack then became, I believe they use Discord now. I believe that's what I was told.
Right.
And Discord is honestly what we were going to use originally
before they actually got on Discord. That's what Davis was fighting for and arguing for. And quite frankly, I didn't want to do it just for the simple fact I had so much to do to build the league. I didn't want to learn how to use Discord. So it was just me being lazy. That's why we didn't use it to begin with. But my thing is, when you sit back and you know for a fact I recruited people, no one can deny this that was in that league. You know I created the pro boards. You know I created the podcast. You know I created the pick'em. All elements the league still uses. And when you go to that league, if you are not watching a game, which is the number one point of the league, if you're not watching a game, what are the only elements left? The communication on the freaking boards. Okay, the communication on the boards, which we use, and it was my creation. They do their pick'em every week. Oh, I also brought the rankings, which I think they're still doing the rankings. I don't know for sure, but I also brought the rankings and the podcast.
There's several. Yeah, but there's several other things that you brought up to him over time that they are now starting to use, and they're pretty much taking credit for it. And which, yeah,
I mean, some of the rules and some of the ideas and things like that.
Yep.
Yeah. I will say it, like I said, till I'm blue in the face and they can deny it all they want. I'll challenge them to come on the air and argue it with me. I would say 85% of what that league does was my idea. 85% of what that league uses was my creation. And that might even be underlining it. I mean, I might be going under the average. It might even be higher, but I don't want to discredit too much. But if anyone thinks I'm crazy, all I ask you is go look at what that league did and didn't do before I joined, and look at what it does and doesn't do after I've joined, and compare some of the things they're doing compared to what we're doing, and you'll see it. You know? And that's all I say. If I'm such a negative, why do you use everything that I have? Why do you do everything that I did? Why do you bring to the table everything I made for you? It couldn't have been that bad. That alone makes a man with class look that motherfucker in the face, which you really can't when you're on the internet, and say, fuck you, you're a fake-ass dude, and walk away from him. And that's reality. Nobody can argue that. That's my opinion. But some people can't, and they have their reasons, and whatever their reasons are, and the most common was, I like that community. Well, convince that community to realize what you realize, and you leave together. Go make your own league. Go join a different league. You ain't got to come here. But exit that piece of shit's life. That's it. You know? And by the way, I'm such a bad guy. I told his dad happy birthday, and I got to thank you, buddy. But hey, whatever.
Yeah. Like I said, the one major thing that pissed me off was when he was trying to convince people that you were saying that you telling everybody they had to choose. They couldn't be in both. And I can honestly tell you, he has never said that to anybody. I know that guy was saying it because I could almost guarantee he was.
Well, we know he was. And again, and I'll point it out, and it's fact, and it can't be denied from people who still doubt it. Anyone who's in this league, I'm going to tell you right now, if you're in this league, I want you to post it on Slack, on your Facebook, anywhere in public for the world to see. If I told you you had to pick between one league or the other, I want you to make this public. And I can say this with knowing no one's going to be able to do it. Number two, if you look at the guys that are in our league, and I've said this 1,000 times, if you're not an owner, if you're not a coach over there, and you joined here, you got banned. You were banned. He wasn't banning his owners, and he wasn't banning his coaches because that would have put him in a bind. But he banned human players who were willing to join both leagues.
Everybody knows my story. I got booted just because I went on a team channel and said this might, I might be done here, but I never said when.
That was the key. You might be, because you even came to me and said, I know it's between you and him. Are you going to be pissed if I stay? And I said, no, do as you wish. And you said, all right, I have some things to think about. I'm going to let Barkley know this might be my last season. And then you couldn't get back on. Again, shows the character. And that was the other thing. He was taking shots at me, disrespecting me, talking shit. And then I had my son post the link for guys to come hear my side of things, and he banned my son. You banned my son because you were afraid of the truth. That's all that was. You didn't want my son letting everybody get my son's link to open everybody's eyes up to your bullshit. And the thing is, he doubted that we would ever open this link and everything.
we will say that there was a few that were banned because, honestly, they kind of deserved it.
Well, they went off.
There's a couple that they went off on your behalf, which, that's fine. But they kind of went over the line a little bit. So, that
to me, it's not really going over the line. When the line has been completely erased from the earth and you're being an asshole, you got to deal with the consequences someone else brings. And guys were pissed. Guys were pissed. And I'll say Thomas W. Goodhart was one of those guys who got banned because he went off. And he went off because he was one of the few people whose eyes opened up right away with what was going on. And he called bullshit real quick, and he called him out on it.
Yeah, he did.
And he wasn't afraid to call him.
Yeah, he called him out pretty quickly.
And he put him out there. He put him in his place, told him what was what and what was real. And unlike I did at first, he was one of the first people who started providing proof and evidence and everything else to show people, look, this is what the fuck he's talking about, as in referring to me. And he got banned for it. And Davis is right. He said, this is turning into tyranning on Cam 2.0. He's 100% accurate because we still have a game we didn't cover.
Yeah, sorry. Like I said, I'm sorry I've got everything going again, but I just
and Davis says this is the second straight episode, by the way. And just to make sure Davis understands why, is because there's been a lot of incognito shots towards our league over the last few podcasts that they've done. This San Francisco Shark is a pot shot at us, and it's got some people irritated. That's all.
And I'm gonna say this. I'll throw this out there because I don't give a shit. The reason Alex was trying to get rid of that running back named Northrop is because when they had a podcast or something and there was a bunch of dislikes, that guy went in there and they're chatting right away. So, oh, it's the IFL guys. Look what they're doing. After everything you did for him, when you were the guy that went to bat for him the most, when no one else wanted to vote for him to get that damn team he has over there, you were the guy that says, oh, no. He deserves it. He should have it. Mm-hmm. And then he does this.
Yeah.
That's another thing that's got me pissed off.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, they take, like you said, they kind of do their shit in like you said, in little incognito shots because, the San Francisco Sharks is definitely a shot at me and you. No doubt about it.
Oh, yeah. There's no doubt. And I talked to Destro about that. And Destro told me straight up when he saw that, he was like, dude, you got to change this name. But that wasn't happening. Mm-hmm. And it was just like, yeah, I'm not surprised.
But nobody says anything about how they do their stuff. But everybody wants to say shit just because I'm willing to go on here and lay it out for them.
Yeah, we won't
go out and lay it out. I won't sugarcoat shit. I won't hide shit.
Right.
Because honestly, that totally, without a shadow of a doubt, pissed me the fuck off. Because the only reason I happened to find it was because Dwayne was on PlayStation and he was trying to find something to watch on YouTube, and there it was. I said, well, let's just see who gets it. Because I was kind of pulling for Liam because, since Liam's been over there, he's been busting his ass helping him out. And I thought for sure he'd get a team last year because he was trying so hard. And then they announced the teams and he didn't get one at first. I'm like, oh my God, that poor guy's going to commit suicide. I said, because he's been busting and he wanted a team. And then they made him wait till the end and he got his London Knights. But when they announced that Ryan Moats got an expansion team named the San Francisco Sharks, what else am I supposed to, really? Am I not supposed to be upset about that? Am I not supposed to make a comment about that?
And I'm going to
knowing that they brought that guy in because the castle was crumbling, so they had to build a moat to try to save him.
Right. And I'll say,
and then they let him have a team.
Read this comment. Davis makes this comment in the chat room. He says, what you guys are doing is giving them traction. He said this long ago, and he doesn't like repeating himself. And I will say this. At first, I would give this to Davis, this statement. But one thing I will notice is as of recent and as of late, lot more people are realizing the truth, and it's our ability to go on here and speak that is opening some people's eyes up to the reality.
Right.
You know, more and more guys aren't realizing things. Like Chisholm didn't realize things till just recently. You know, he didn't realize everything. Now he's still there. He's not leaving, you know, because that's our problem. That's not his problem. You know, Heath McDaniel quit that league because he realized things, you know, and came here because he realizes what's what. He figured it out. Some guys are going to take a little longer than others. Some guys just are stubborn. Some guys just don't care, you know, because it's not their problem. You know, which is why I brought up the statement of class and this and that. And I don't mean to say that as a disrespectful comment towards anybody, but I'm saying that because it's my honest thought for my own personal self. You know, if I'm good to you and someone does you dirty, I will be damned if I'm going to support them. Not doing it. Not doing it no matter what. I just can't, especially if you can prove it. If you can't prove it, now I got to wonder, are you just being a bitch? But if you can prove it, and I know you've proven it, there's no way in hell I can support a piece of shit against somebody who's helped me. As I said, if this was role reversal and it was anybody that was in my shoes, I wouldn't be in that league anymore because it's been proven. I just couldn't do it. And I couldn't do it with my own self. You know, but whatever. But again, we do need to get off that soapbox.
Like I said, I do. Like I said, I apologize a little bit, but it just bothers me that they can do that. Let that guy have a team and clearly take a shot at us by, and I don't care what, you know, anybody in this league say, oh, they're not, if they want to think they're not doing it, because it surely is. Because when I started in that league, I was with the San Francisco Bulldogs. I took over the San Francisco Bulldogs. We moved it to LA and we became the LA Sharks. Now he's the San Francisco Sharks. That is clearly a certain person in that league named Cam, who said, hey, we're going to do this. Mm-hmm. I believe that without a shadow of a doubt. And if somebody else says, oh, no, that's not how it is, bullshit. And if you're okay with them taking little quiet shots at us and doing like that, get the fuck out. Simple as that. I'm tired of the bullshit. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of them doing whatever the fuck they want to do. And if I say something or you say something right away, we're the bad guy. Now I'm getting angry again because I'm tired of it. They can take all the little shots they want and do all the bullshit they want to do. But anytime we do something and try to set things right, it's, oh, you guys are just starting shit. You guys are just doing this. You guys are just doing that. You know, because when everything went down with the guy who was starting shit and he told us to come and tell him, I went over and I told him, and I got jumped. Oh, it's not his responsibility. The fucker told us to come and tell him because he wanted to deal with it.
Right. And because people got excited, he didn't say, hey, guys, calm down. I told him. He sat back and enjoyed it.
He sat back and let it go.
Mm-hmm.
And so another little thing. But we're not allowed to say nothing. I'm not allowed to do nothing. I'm not allowed. No, I can't. The one point, I guess what?
Here's the one thing. You know, you don't point out. Here's the one thing you never pointed. Think about this. And I don't even think you thought about this. But here's the one point you've never pointed out when it comes to that. When he said that to you and I, he said that in our game, where our members were sitting. Some of our members are his members. Okay? Some of our members are his members. And when you went over there and pointed it out, some of those guys were in that game, and none of them opened their mouth either.
That's true.
That was one of the other things. I think that pissed me off more than anything, was guys that are in both leagues, which I'm okay with. They didn't step up and say, guys, chill out. Cam told them, hey, this fucking support Cam guy shows up again. He wanted to know so he could try and fix it. You know, he doesn't want the beef. He wants this, that. You know, that's why they're here.
And honestly, chill out. That was bullshit. That was him just trying to make himself look good.
Of course, it was a setup.
Because if he was any kind of man, when I went over to during their podcast or game, whatever the hell it was, and I said, hey, just to let you know, this guy's over here starting shit again. And then, of course, his cronies were the ones that jumped down my throat. And I even posted in there, he told us to tell him. And all I got was, it's not his responsibility. He can't control it. He was the guy that said he was going to try to help.
Yeah, well, like I said, he showed his character again when he didn't open his mouth when he was right there to see it. He just ignored it. And if you remember, his only comment was, ignore it all, guys. That's all he said. Ignore it all, guys. And if we also notice, people, the support Cam character disappeared from our games when I called out on a podcast who it was and who was behind
Andy
it.
Hamilton.
And then it disappeared. It didn't show up anymore.
We said it was Andy Hamilton, and we believe Cam was behind it. Yes, we did.
It was Cam's idea. Cam was pulling the triggers, what we should say, and Andy was behind it. I called it out plain as day on the air, and I said, if I'm wrong, you prove me I'm wrong. Next thing we know, it never showed up again. Haven't seen it since. Don't think we'll ever see it. But I want to stay on topic, get back to focus.
What game do we have left? Because I'm getting pissed off again.
We have the game of the Detroit Hawks at the Chicago Assassins.
There you go, Alex.
So I'm not even going to waste any time discussing this. I'm trying to get a confirmation because I believe I did write an error when I wrote the roster down. Atlanta has 2 current free safeties wrote down, James Smith at silver and Shark Harris at copper. I think one of them was moved to strong safety, and I forgot to write down the edit. Either way.
Detroit?
Yeah, for Detroit. Who did I say? Chicago?
You just said Atlanta.
Okay. Why did I say Atlanta? I don't know.
Hell, I don't know.
Oh, Atlanta
I got
Hawks.
y'all.
That's why Atlanta Hawks. God damn. I'm thinking baseball, Atlanta Hawks, or basketball. Holy shit, I'm all over the place. I feel like that goddamn commercial with Odell Beckham when the guy don't know what the hell he's talking about.
See what happens? I get all fired up, and then you don't know what to do because you gotta try to calm me down. So
then I get flustered. So for the Detroit Hawks, like I said, I think one of the safeties is going to strong. I could be wrong, and they're both free. I just got to double check that. But here's what I see in this game, and I don't know if anyone has noticed this. I noticed it. Plain and simple. Detroit's going to have some work to do in this game right from jump, and here's why. If these are both free safeties, they do not have a strong safety. They also do not have any star corners. There is no star corner on the Detroit Hawks, and the Chicago Assassins have 2 gold wide receivers and a gold quarterback. That could be a nightmare for this team. It could be an absolute nightmare. No pun intended in Nashville. But I don't like the matchup just for that and that alone. But Detroit's got one of the most unique builds. They're one of the few teams that got gold linebacker. They got a silver fullback with a silver defensive tackle. They have a kicker at copper. They got a defensive end at copper. They went all over the board with this build, went all different parts and pieces. Clearly going something different, clearly going something unique, something that I'm clearly excited for. They're going to be one of the teams I want to watch because of these things. Chicago went with we're going to throw the ball down your throat. As I said, double gold wide receivers, a gold quarterback. And then at free safety, strong safety, linebacker, and corner, all at silver to counter the complete offensive heavy gold. Then they went half and half at the bronze. A bronze wide receiver, a bronze running back. I don't think you need anything higher than a bronze running back when you're carrying 2 gold wide receivers and a gold quarterback. So wide receiver, running back, like I said, at bronze, inside linebacker and corner at bronze. Then at copper, they got a fullback, which to me, I guess it's to help out the fact that the running back's only a bronze. It's the only thing I can think of. And then they got the 3rd wide receiver in Brian Holt. I'm sorry, a 4th wide receiver in Brian Holt at copper, and then an outside linebacker, Cole Robinson. So this team has 2 golds, a bronze, and a copper wide receiver, as well as a fullback. 4 wide receivers and a fullback. Unique builds on these teams.
Well,
go.
I hate to jump here, but I have to get off here because I got to get some stuff done before my wife gets here, or she will be highly upset.
You spent 3.5 months ranting on Cam. Oh man.
Yes, because it helps me feel better, And I saw some of the comments where the guys were, "Oh, you made this show for this, not for that." But at the same time, this show is honestly the only time that we actually do get to say anything.
Yeah. Well, David's suggestion is
when we do a podcast like this, stay on topic, and let's create a podcast just where we want to rip into him. It's not a bad suggestion.
I might just do that. That might be a weekly thing.
Welcome to Inside the IFL. Fuck you, Cam series. Is that what it's going to be?
We'll have we'll call it Unleash the Beast. Since
the Beast.
Since Davis encouraged us the one day to let me go and unleash the beast
and let him out. Go get him. Yeah, that was great when we found that. Shit. He said, "Yeah, pretty much."
See, I needed that. I need a laugh.
Yeah, but yeah. Well, before you take off, give us 2-minute analysis of this game. You covered the other 7. You got to cover this one.
Detroit, Chicago. Where to start? Well, obvious. 2 new owners.
Right.
Second thing, Alex believes certain stuff will work. Mm-hmm. And when we've talked about it over, different times, I just have to shake my head and go, what? Because I honestly believe some of the stuff he thinks will work, it ain't no way in hell it's going to work, especially on the defense. But, if he can get it to work, that's awesome. Chicago, you don't really know nothing about them. I mean, we all know that they're insane. I mean, just by some of their comments that they post during games, on Slack, doing this, guys are nuts. They might be just as crazy as Taco. So, and wow. They don't, they never really had any experience doing anything anywhere else. So this will be their first time. I don't know how much they know about the game. They don't know about the game. I mean, we know Alex knows a lot of stuff, but how much, same thing. How much does he know? How much doesn't he know? Same thing for Chicago. Again, I'll say this is just as good as the Green Bay Winnipeg game. 2 new owners trying something that they believe is, and this is a perfect test for them because they're not going up against somebody that they know as soon as we get it, oh God, we're going to get killed. Why do they even have to play this game? Or they're not going against somebody that, they believe that they're going to completely destroy. And it, again, it's a waste of time. This game should test both teams.
Yeah.
I honestly can't wait to see what they do. There's a lot of teams. I'm looking forward to seeing the Green Bay Winnipeg game. I'm looking forward to seeing Detroit Chicago. Can't stand Denver, but I'll watch him, see what he does, because I want to see what he. Because
it's not.
And it's not that I don't like. It's not that I don't like Chisholm, because I like Mark. I can't stand anything that says Denver. I'm sorry. I don't care if it's the Broncos, if it's not the Broncos or not. Anything that says Denver to me sucks. Plain and simple.
Oh, God.
As far as the Boston game go, I can't wait to play Tampa Bay because they're the Cleveland Browns. Seriously. I saw the new color code and they're the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, that was interesting.
So it's going to hurt me without a shadow of a doubt. It's going to break my heart to beat their ass.
I got to mention that since you brought that up. They were the Tampa Bay Stallions, everybody knows, were gold and purple, kind of like the Lakers. They sent in a new color code, kind of resembled the Steelers. And I happened to mention to him, I'm going with a Steeler look, huh? He hated that idea because apparently he doesn't like the Steelers. Caught the comments made on Slack about you might as well just become the Browns for whatever reason they were made. I forget.
I told him. I said, listen. I sent him a thing. I said, you got the Steelers colors. I said, but you're being the Browns because he's all those draft picks.
Right.
And the next thing I know, he says, watch this. And you said you won't believe this. And he sent you a new code and you showed me. And it was the Browns. And I sent him. I said, dude, I wasn't meaning you had to change to the Browns because I'm a Browns fan and you don't like Pittsburgh. And he's like, oh, no, I had to do it. I had to do it. I'm like, okay. So that's what he's going with.
And let's not get it lost. Not only is it, quote unquote, the Browns, but it's the Browns of yesteryear, if you will, in the 80s when they were a solid franchise.
Yes. And I'll say that again because, get on different chat rooms, different stuff. Even hear guys, some of these younger, the Browns have always sucked. No, they haven't.
No.
I'm not old enough to have seen the Browns when they dominated back in the day, and nobody gives them credit for it anymore because it's a different time, it's a different. No, I don't give a shit. All that shit should count because they were still part of the NFL. But when they were dominating, the old AAFL and then the NFL, and they went to 10 championship games and they won 7 out of 10, and they were kicking the shit out of everybody, and they were a feared franchise. And then they dropped off for a while. And then in the 80s, we started coming back. And we should have made the Super Bowl, I don't know how many damn years, but we choked. And we lost to them fucking Broncos. There you go, Mark. Now you know why I hate Denver so much.
I think you knew then.
But we were still a damn good team. And then we bring in Belichick, and he started to turn the franchise around. His last year, I think he was 11-5, and then everything went to hell. And we haven't been good since.
It's the Belichick curse.
Well, it was the owner, because the owner booted him out because he admitted it. I've seen several interviews where Modell wouldn't leave him alone. Modell had to be right there over his shoulder all the time, second guessing everything he was doing, even though he was winning. So if you got an owner like that, you might as well hang it up anyway. But yeah, so for all these young kids and, guys who have no idea, why I'm so passionate about the Browns is because I'm old enough to remember when we were good. I remember when teams played us, they were afraid to play us because we knew and they knew we were kicking their ass. But I don't have that anymore. I haven't had that for, God, how many years? But yet I'm still a Browns fan. It's getting harder and harder to do, but I'm sticking with them. I'm sticking with them. But like I said, when Tampa Bay changed their colors, and you showed me, and I'm like, oh, because that's exactly what I did. I go, oh my God, and he's like, are you okay? Are you okay? I'm like, oh yeah, I'm okay.
Oh boy,
because those are the turns I remember. Because I can honestly tell you this. My player that's in the IFL, who's a linebacker, is number 57 for a reason. And that's because my favorite player on the Browns, well, one of them, wore number 57. And he played linebacker, and that was Clay Matthews.
Yeah.
And his son now plays in Green Bay.
Then just to touch on the uniform, like I said, if you want to see what it looks like without actually getting in the game and me showing you people, just look up Cleveland Browns uniform late 80s, because that's what it is. It's like from 85 to 88, 89 is what this uniform looks like. And the helmet is the exact same design as the Browns helmet then. But, of course, it has the stallion on the side of the helmet. And if you guys remember the logo, the horse is white, and he's got an orange mane. So that's what he's got.
But yeah, I sent him a message right away. I said, dude, you didn't have to do that. He goes, oh, yes, I did. Okay.
Yeah, it was interesting to say the least.
Like I said, I went ape shit when I saw it.
I'm getting ready to, so you guys know, going to the site now, and I'm going to copy and paste the full schedule for everybody to see. So you have it. Because we were going to get into more weeks and things of that nature, but you got on your soapbox.
Hey, I have to do it every once in a while to keep me sane.
Keep you sane?
Oh, yeah. Because otherwise I'm going to go off the freaking deep end and do who knows what. I'm just, you know me, Doug. You've known me long enough now. I'm just wired that way. And people,
and Alex is excited to be playing Chicago. Okay.
I'm sure he is. That's always talked about since I think he's been talking about since we announced it. He got a team and Chicago got a team. Oh, that's it. We're going to kill him. We're going to crush him. Dude, you haven't even got a team yet. How the hell are you going to say you're going to crush a team? But he's been saying it. Gotta love it.
Oh, yeah.
Gotta love it.
Yeah, I like it. When you guys get to go check out the site, I want to let everybody know now. The schedule will be posted. Pacific games will be in red font. Atlantic games will be in a gold style font, so everyone's aware.
Nice.
This way it kind of makes it easier for everybody to look at, figure out what is what. So I just think that's going to be the easiest thing to do right now.
I like it.
Putting it all together right now so I can actually put it on the site so you guys can see it.
But I mean, we could have went ahead and went into the whole rest of the schedule. But like you and I talked before we got on, there's honestly really no point right now. I mean, we could have just went and said, hey, you totally play this, you play that. But we felt it was more, we should talk more about just the first week.
Yeah, I mean, I see no point in picking out games. Oh, my God, let's talk about this one, that one, because of what happened last year or history of the owner, this, that, and the other, because it's a different season, it's a different team. Last year doesn't count.
Right.
So, I mean, I wasn't about to bring that up.
And like I said, and we don't know. You honestly don't know what's going to happen week one.
Right.
I mean, anything and everything usually happens in week one. And then you go from there and adjust some stuff if you feel you need to get ready for week two.
Now, if I asked you right now to pick one team that you suspect to be in the hunt, who are you picking?
Do I expect to be in the hunt right now?
Yeah.
Out of all these teams?
Right. If you had to put your money on one team that's going to be in the hunt, you're guaranteeing it. Which team are you picking?
Baltimore.
So, to touch on the point we're trying to make, he says Baltimore. Come week one, regardless of who Baltimore plays, which, as we mentioned here on the air, in week one, Baltimore's home against Dallas. Dallas could easily win that game. Baltimore could come back in week two and lose again to New York because that's who they have in week two. The thing is, Baltimore is definitely in my top 2-3 choices, no question, of the teams I suspect to be in the hunt. They could be the shittiest team we got. That could happen. That's
could happen. Exactly.
That's why I felt and you felt there was no need to look ahead and jump ahead and whatever.
Yeah, and then at the same thing, we could say, a lot of people say, oh, you got to say the defending champs again. They have the same team basically, but their running back is different. Right. They don't have that extra free safety. They have defensive linemen now. Will that affect them? I mean, that few changes right there, it could flip them completely around, and it could be the worst team. It's just, you never know.
Right.
And that's like we're saying. That's why we said we'll just talk about week one and kind of compare because we know what everybody has at this point. And then we'll go from there at some other point because you don't have anything to really base it on except like last year. And like you said, a lot of teams have changed from last year. A lot of things are different. So you really can't go by that. You can't say, well, this team did this. And now, unless they have everything back, which Arizona almost did, but they made changes, which there you go. It's a change. I mean, look at Boston. Now that I'm there, we're running the 3-4 now. We got, gold running back now, which they didn't have last year. So you can't say, oh, they did this last year, but now so that's a change.
I'm going to mention this to everybody now. We're going to be doing 2 games on Fridays, 2 games on Saturdays from each conference. That's the plan. That's what we're planning on doing. If I can get everything to work on my end to call games, the game that is voted game of the week from the Eastern Conference or the Western Conference, I'm going to try and call that. If not both, if possible. I don't know. But like I said, my microphone issue's been I talked to Destro about it. He's not quite sure what the issue could be. I talked to Mark Chisholm about it. He's not quite sure what the issue could be. Both of them had me cracking up when they basically said they have little chintzy for nothing microphones that they just plug in and go, and mine's kind of more fancy like, and mine's the one that's a piece of shit. So figure my luck. But anyway, but that is what it is. Now,
I'm sorry, that's too funny. These guys say they got chintzy crap and they work great. I got this expensive shit. It doesn't work. What the hell?
Oh well. I just thought it was. Okay,
I love it.
I want to laugh about it, but it's on me, and I don't laugh because that. But it's still funny. Mark says, "When are playbooks due?" Don't know exactly when playbooks are officially due. I know. Don't know how, why he did it so quickly, but Alex has already submitted his playbook in an email, I believe. I haven't even opened it yet because I don't need it.
That's awesome.
What I'm doing right now for the teams is I fixed my corrupt file. Mark, you and I had this conversation on the phone. It's all fixed, all created, all taken care of now. Now I got to open them up in the editor and start changing player names. And this is the thing. We have 16 teams, okay? We have 14 star players per team. I have 224 players to edit that are star. And then some of you are going to want to change every single little detail about every non-star player on your roster. Some guys might want to just change the name. Some guys are going to want to change something as stupid as the cleats. Someone might say, I don't want that guy having gloves. Really? This is a non-star guy. But it's your team. Do with it what you wish. Do with it what you will. But that's why I made the statement.
I'm changing numbers and changing names.
That's why I made the statement early in the podcast. The more work I get, the longer it's going to take. I think that speaks for itself. If I can get it all done in time, there will be a preseason. If there's a preseason, then playbooks are going to need to be done sooner. So to give you a fair statement now, it's not like it's something I want to throw out there now, but I don't mind putting it out here. If
all right,
we don't have a preseason, the books are going to be due on the 29th of November. If we do have a preseason, it'll probably be the 22nd. That's my guess.
I'm going to interrupt you for just a second. I'll talk to you guys later. And
okay.
Thank you guys for letting me go on my rant and understanding. Because, sometimes I just need to do it.
Right.
Because, I just have shit that builds up and then it has to come out. I'm wired that way. I can't change. I'm not changing for nobody. I don't have to change. Either deal with the way I am or don't deal with it, whatever. But that's just, so. But I got to get off here and get some shit done. So.
All right,
but it was fun, and Wednesday, right? Wednesday should be the next.
Yes, Wednesday at 1:00 Eastern, we come back with a complete breakdown of the Pacific Conference. And then Friday at 1 p.m., it'll be a complete breakdown of the Atlantic Conference. I just completed editing the emojis. I deleted all the old emojis that had the clear background because I don't have the new teams like that. So I didn't want to have current teams with good-looking emojis and the newer teams with not. So I deleted the other ones, and I have the ones with just the backgrounds and stuff that I'm going to be uploading. Not ideal, kind of sucks, but hey, we go with what we got because, again, we're not about glitz and glamour here. We can still get the point across. That being said, it gets to my point that I was saying about the games Friday and Saturday. The Saturday night games are going to be, quote-unquote, the games of the week. Most people should be able to see those. The ones that get the most votes are going to be then. As soon as all the emojis are uploaded, I am actually going to create the pick'em already for people who want to vote. Or you can wait until you see the preseason game in case we have a preseason. Just throwing that out there now. It's up to you. Ed is officially off the call, so you guys are aware, so he will not be chiming in anymore. So it's a lot of stuff going on. Like I said, right now I'm finalizing a couple teams' builds because a couple teams did go over cap. One is done. The other one should be done. I just got to update everything on my end. That'll be out of the way. I'm going to ask for everybody to send me who is going to carry the leadership for your team. I'm going to officially ask that probably tonight or tomorrow so I can get those. Even if you've already sent it, I need it sent again because the guys who sent it, I wasn't keeping track of it because I wasn't worried about it yet. I probably should have kept a note of it anyway because since the team did the nice thing and tried to get ahead of the game, I appreciate it, but that's on me for not keeping track of it. And I think I have all the diamond in the roughs taken care of. I believe that's taken care of. So then it's going to get to submitting the rosters, who you do and or don't want. And I will tell you right now, I need a couple more of you to be like my son. And here's why I say. My son asked me what he could or couldn't do with his team. And I told him. So he said, well, what does this mean? And I was explaining everything to him. He came to the realization he doesn't care what this guy, that guy looks like, or what this guy wearing, or his number, this, that, and the other, that he told me he plans on doing nothing to the non-star roster. So with his team, all I got to do is create his 14 drafted players, his 14 star guys, do what small edits they need and or don't need, and then his roster is ready to go. So I will probably get his done faster than anybody else's in the league, and that's going to save us a considerable amount of time. You know, but like I said, I want you to have your team to be the way you want it because, of course, you're going to enjoy it. That's just all there is to it. So, don't mind me. I keep yawning. I haven't slept well the last couple of nights for some reason. 2 nights ago, I was overly heated and I just couldn't get comfortable. I was hot. Felt like I was sweating. And last night, I just kept tossing and turning, and I don't know why. So, I'm a little exhausted. And I got to go to work tonight, so I'm hoping I can get a nice little power nap in here this afternoon. If my kids will listen for me to do that and take a little hour nap. But please pay attention to Slack because I should be asking for that sooner than later so you can send it to me. Teams signing non-star players, please continue to do so. Hang on to your lists. I have not even got to building the teams yet, and I need to build your star players yet. Then I need to get into that. So, of course, I'm going to need their name, their numbers, their heights, weights, whatever it is you're doing to those guys to get them on your teams. And I know Baltimore probably has at least 10 non-star players signed that are human. So he's loaded up. You know, he's getting as many guys out there as he can, which is kind of cool. And again, humans that are non-stars, your player can be redrafted next year if he was a rookie, or you can create a new guy. You're not locked into that team at the end of the season, no matter what. They can't sign you to anything. You're just there for the season. So you don't have to worry about contracts and stuff. And I have my back door open. I have a patio. And above my patio is a balcony. And I can hear my neighbor up there hacking like ain't nobody's business. And my whole neighborhood is freaking sick right now. And I can feel my throat getting scratchier and scratchier by the hour. So we'll see how well I feel to do podcasts Wednesday and Friday if this keeps up. But the official schedule, the full schedule, was already posted on the website. So go to iflzone.weebly.com, go to the schedule link, and you'll see it. And you can take a look at it. I will just kind of give it a quick once-over for those of you who would like to know it. Week 2, a couple games, and I'm just going to point out a couple games just for the fun of it. Oh, excuse me. Kitsune's at Denver in week 2. That's 2 old, wily veterans of this game, you know, going up against each other. That's when the Flight get to be at home against Boston, and they were just having some fun here in the chat room. You know, you got a couple new owners taking on each other. Week 3, well, in that week also the Outlaws, who are the defending champions, they get to take on the Bulldogs. You know, so who knows how important that one is. You know, but you know, and I might be here all day if I do this, but there's quite a few games each week. Just go to the schedule. Get the conversation started on Slack. I saw there was a lot more activity today than there's been early today. Just keep things going. Keep guys talking. Keep things moving. I think the more active you are, the more active the next guy might be, because I think everybody's kind of got that, I'll just wait till someone says something before I do. No, you instigate it, more guys are going to get involved. So it's a 14-week schedule again. You're going to play everybody in your conference twice, not just your division. And unlike last year, week 1 is not week 8. Week 2 is not week 9. Week 7 is not week 14. Weeks 8 through 14 are jumbled up. They're not a carbon copy of weeks 1 through 7. So make sure you check into that as well. So, like week 1, we've already discussed week 1. Week 8 should have been the same based on last year's analysis, and it's not. The Cobras are at the Stallions. The Rhinos are at the Bulls. Wait, no, I said week 8. Week 8. Liberty's at the Wranglers. Nashville's at the Rhinos. Bulls are at the Stallions. Flight is at the Cobras. Arizona's at the Hawks. Assassins are at the Bulldogs. Crusaders at the Yeti. Grizzlies are at the Kitsune. Now, when you look at Green Bay at Tokyo, as the last one I mentioned, that's a week 8 game. So if you go look for when they actually play each other first, you will see that, let me see here, that's week 8, okay. Green Bay at Tokyo. So Tokyo travels to Green Bay in what week? Week 5. So week 5 and week 8 are the same week. Just the other team is home. So you're going to play the same team twice in 4 weeks. That's just the way it fell this time. We wanted to mix up the second half of the season, so it wasn't a carbon copy to make it a little more interesting. So the last week of this season in week 14, one of the games is Baltimore at Dallas. Baltimore-Dallas is week 14. If you think about it, Dallas is at Baltimore week 1. So week 1 is now the final week of the season this year. So you play the teams you open up with is the teams you will end with. So Detroit and Mr. Alex Dar, who's excited about being on the road, going to Chicago and getting to play what he referred to as going to be his main rival in week 1. You get to then in week 14, the final week of the season, you get to be at home and play him in the rematch, I believe. So I think that's what it is. No, you do not. I forgot how we did that. We mixed and matched the 2 conferences as well. So weeks 1 through 7, not only are they different, they're also different games. Holy smokes, I totally forgot we did this. I separated the 4 games from each conference, the second half of the season, and just threw them off to the side, if you will, and then randomly slapped them down into different weeks. So it's completely different matchups each week as well. So it's not a boring same set of 8 games twice a week or twice a season. So that's kind of cool. I'm going to check chat, see if there's any more final comments. Okay, cool, Chisholm. That's good. That works. I like it. Yeah, as far as stars, that's the main thing I want guys to do. I want them to set their stars up. Chisholm's comment was, you can do that with mine. Also, I thought we had to choose equipment, as in referring to probably to my comment that I was saying about my son. No, but when it comes to your 14 star players, I'm hoping everybody takes the time to pick those guys and do with them what you wish, set them up how you want. And as I said, if you pick guys that are not humans, you now have control into what they look like, what they're going to have, and as far as equipment and things like that go, you're in control. So, just to touch on, like that, because Chisholm's in the chat room. If you take a look at his team, he has several non-human players on his team, because that's just the route he ended up taking. But if I look at his team, he has Corey Linton, who was a randomly made name. Is he white? Is he black? Is he Hispanic? Does he like to wear just a thin bar? Does he wear a bigger mask? That's up to him. Don Hollow follows under that same thing. PJ Stormfeltz, Cardinal Stevens, let's see, Nick Alvarez, Brian Hawkins, and I think there's quite a few guys on his team that fall under the non-human but a star player. He gets to control what they are. What race they are, what they have as far as this go, what face they're going to use. He gets the control. And all 16 teams get the control of those players, who they are, what they look like, and all that. So it's up to you. And whatever they create, that's what they'll keep going into the 3rd season, because then obviously they become together. That's why I want to take last season's information, which I've saved, and copy as much of it as I can into this season. So we shall see. All right, if I ain't got no more comments in the chat room, I'm going to wrap this one up. Let's see. I
All right.
Yep, no comments. So I thank everybody who showed up for this. Appreciate it. Again, pay attention to Slack. I'm going to let you know when I need those leadership abilities, who you're going to give it to. Remember, it's going to be a non-star. I can't say that enough. Non-star, non-skill position players. That means defensive line, offensive line, fullback, kicker. And he can't be a player that's on the official roster. He has to be a generic, a non-star player. It's not that difficult. So that being said, for Ed Ritter, for everybody who's been here, appreciate it. I'm going to catch your asses down the road. Later.